Well, I did mention that there was something incoming, and it had been incoming for a few months, and today is the day that I picked it up. And I've had a bit of a love affair with these bikes ever since I had a brand new one in 2010, and then I got another one a few years ago, but due to circumstances I didn't keep it. But I was always on the eye out to have another, and this one came along, and it's a one owner bike with 8,500 miles, or less than 8,500 miles on the clock. And I think what we'll do, I'm not going to film much of this because it's, you know, the bypass is pretty boring. I'll cut it down a bit and doctor it because it's pretty boring. But I won't say what it is. I'll let you tell me what it is, just like I did with the ZZR. Let's see if anybody can guess what I'm on. What I will say is that they came out in 2010 and they just never really clicked, despite the fact that I think it's a fantastic bike and that really it hit a certain mark perfectly, but unfortunately alienated some other sort of groups, if you like, that really would have were looking for something completely different. But it is an amazing bike, and I had one of my best days ever on this bike. Well, not this particular bike, but I bought one brand new in 2010 and I did a 500 plus mile day on it, and it was one of the greatest days I had. They're bikes that are built just like my ZZR. They're built for the bigger blokes, you know, 6 foot, 33-inch leg, fits me beautifully. Same with the ZZR. And I know that this will really complement the ZZR. I'm sort of working on putting the bikes back in my garage that I loved and felt I should never have sold, and that's why, you know, I ended up looking for a good ZZR, and I always preferred the 1100 to the 1400. I always felt the 1100 had a lot more soul. The 1400 is probably a better bike, but the 1100 was just had much more soul about it. And this was another bike that ticked my boxes, and I should never have sold my first one. My first one I nearly bought back. So close to buying that back, but it didn't happen. So I'm not going to give you a walk around because there's no point, because that's going to give the game away. It saves me having to stop then. But I basically bought this really 2 months ago, and I got it from a local dealership, and I wasn't chasing them for it because I was busy getting bits for it. So the end of the result is I'm going to have the full luggage on it. I managed to find a very rare brand new rear rack for it, along with the top plate. Very scarce. It's very hard to get the stuff for this, because in a sense it ran from 2010 to about 2016, so it didn't get a long production run for like these bikes would normally have, and eventually it was dropped. And but there is a community out there, people who are obviously like myself, really do appreciate the bike, really love it, and you know, are just desperate to keep it alive. Now a bike like this, one owner with such low mileage, should hopefully it'll see me out probably, but when it came along, I couldn't resist it. There was no way I could not take it on, and I knew I was going to have it the minute I seen it. But the 2-month wait to get it through their workshop, and I got a radiator guard fitted, which is not a simple job on one of these, and I also got heated grips fitted to it. In those 2 months I found the rack for it, the mounting plate, full luggage, got a centre stand coming for it, I've got the luggage mounts, I've got an original screen for it, which is minted, and I had the visor top part of the screen, I had a brand new one in my workshop. So I've had to edit it a little bit because I did drop a little bit of a bomber there, but I was saying that I have a wind deflector for the original screen, a brand new one that I never ever used. I'm probably going slower here than I should be because further up the road there I got a speeding ticket because of the average speed cameras, and it's a long story, I've told it before, but it was just unfortunate that I got it, really. So I'm even more cautious of this area now. Now, like any sort of big sports bike tourer, the ergonomics is great. It is designed to really, you got to ride it, get the wind blast on your chest, and that helps to take any weight off the wrists. Some people fit bar risers to these bikes. I kind of like the original stance, but it's going to be 14 years ago since I did that big trip, not a one-day big trip, and I really be interested to see how I get on with it now, because I am 14 years older. I'm just turning 60 now. Physically, will I suffer? We'll see. It's not going to bother me because I'm not got any intentions of worrying about what I do with this bike. It's, you know, even if I end up just getting out on it here, there and there, it's going to be enough for me to be happy to own it. Hopefully I'll do a lot more than that, but of course I just don't know how my body will react to it. But I'm still fit, I'm still running, still cycling, quite agile. But I've got a few other things that have gone wrong in my life that do affect me a little bit. And I can't speak about this bike too much, because if I do, I'll give it away. But there's an element of it that is really like, there's an element of it. See, the trouble is, I'm used to indicators on either side because of the Harley, because of the BMW. It's kind of almost getting programmed into me now. So when I go back to one that's all one side, it takes me a little bit to adjust to it. But there is an element on this bike that is, you get off it and you forget that it has this feature, because it is just so transparent. And it's one of the things I used to love about it. And the other thing was the devil's growl, as I used to call it. When you get to just over 4,000 RPM, you get the devil's growl, and it's one of the most fantastic sounds you can get. I've cut another bit out because, again, it's almost like I can't talk about it without giving away what it is. So I've had to kind of doctor this video just to keep it nice and secret. I'm not going to say much more, I'm just going to let it go, and I'll leave some of the other footage in. It's really boring. From here to my house is not that great. steering wise, because it's set quick. I won't tell you any of the how much brake horsepower it's got, all that kind of stuff. That would give the game away, but it's got a lot. Anyway, I said I would shut up, so I'll shut up. I just wanted to get the bit about the gloves. Enjoy. There you go, the Devil's Growl. Listen to that. Oh, that's just... I can't help but comment, but that's lovely. That's what I miss. There you go. That's what we're always up against. But he did notice, and he did acknowledge it, so it's bad. I'm going to go out to my sister's 70th tonight. I go out very often nowadays, can't be bothered, but make the effort. Seems strange to filter on something like this when I do it on the Harley. It's like you hold your breath in a bit because it's such a big bike, but on a bike like this you just feel like you're on a moped after riding a Harley. And although I've obviously got to watch for people changing lane, because you get just like what happened back there where people pull out. This bridge is a bit of a disaster. They really should have kept it as a 3-laner so that traffic filtering in doesn't have to filter in on the lane, and then of course that's what causes all this tailback here. But as a filtering bike, this gets top marks because it really isn't too difficult. This is where it gets a bit risky because people are joining the lane. Some people will start to pull over. It can get a little bit dicey, so you just got to watch what you're doing. Hopefully we can start to filter our way through. There's a point where it picks up speed and its filtering becomes a little bit naughty. There we are, that's us on the Queen's Ferry Bridge. Almost home. I never liked the ride back from Two Wheels to Edinburgh because of the city bypass really. The Harley shop, it's right at the start of the city bypass, so you don't have to go on the bypass for that. And that's great, that's a great place to get to. And it's no time at all when it's, you know, that bypass is just a bloody nightmare. And this bridge can be a nightmare as well, but that wasn't, today's not too bad. I can't say I'm finding any discomfort on my wrists. I mean I've only done maybe 25 miles or something like that, but it feels fine to me. Like I say, you can't get bar risers for this, but I just feel then that it's sticking you up in the air a bit, and I quite like it the way it is, if I'm being honest. I like it sort of sporty enough still. I think the minute you start putting bar risers on it,